so today's video is going to be another reading vlog, because all I do is film reading vlogs now, of reading This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. I finally decided to start this series because I've been trying to knock off more series off my TBR, and also since I had just read, did I say Arso? Also just read Shatter Me in February. I really wanted to finish all of the Tahereh Mafi books that I own. Can I speak English? Oh my god. I really did not sleep that well. Like at all. So it was awful. So anyway, we're going to start off obviously with the first book, which is This Woven Kingdom. I actually already started this. I'm only like 13 pages into it though, because I was too tired. But then of course, I didn't sleep anyway. So I probably could have read more of this, but it's fine. We literally just started it because I finished another book yesterday. And then we have these infinite threads, and also these book covers are fucking insanely gorgeous. And then we have All This Twisted Glory, which is the current and most recent release. This one came out last year. I do have the hardcover. This one had just recently came out in the paperback, I think a month ago. I was about to say a year ago. No, Caitlin. But these books are just so beautiful, and I love the covers. So, and I really wanted to read this series because, I don't know, I was just really intrigued by it. And again, the covers are absolutely stunning, and I love the colors of these books. So yeah, we're just gonna continue reading the first one. So far, I'm barely into it, so I can't really give you my thoughts yet. I mean, it started a little slow, but again, I really don't know yet. And also, these books are kind of long. They're this one's almost 500 pages, but since it's YA, I usually fly through YA relatively quickly, so hopefully I'll get at least 100 pages in before I go out today. That should be pretty easy. I don't know if I'm going to listen to the audiobooks, though, because, the audiobook voice I don't really like. And I'm why the fuck is she British? Because this is supposed to be a Persian romantasy. And I was expecting, a Persian accent when I was listening to the narration, because I just wanted to hear a sample. And I'm why is she British? I don't know. It is what it is. Maybe I'll look up, if British, if they were colonized by Britain during that time. I have no idea. I guess we'll find out as I'm reading this series. But yeah, I've seen mixed things about it. I've seen either people love this series more than Shatter Me, or people love Shatter Me over this series. So it's not, I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy both series, but I haven't really seen from anyone that they loved both series. They either love one or the other. But honestly, again, I feel like I'm going to like both. And I'm glad that I read Shatter Me first, so I'm really used to the way that she writes. I'm not saying you have to do that. You can read them in whatever order you want. It doesn't matter. They're two completely separate, different worlds. But I wanted to read Shatter Me first because it was on my TBR for a lot longer than this series. But this series has been on my TBR for a hot minute. And also the fourth book in this series is coming out in September. But I also wanted to, I just wanted to read it because I'm so in the mood for it, but I did hear it just leave off on a cliffhanger, but it's fine since the fourth book is coming out in September. It's not too long of a wait, and at least it's coming out this year, so it's not something that I have to wait for 2 years, Onyx Storm, to whenever the next book is coming out. So, but I also wanted to read Shatter Me first because the next book is coming out in April, and it's a spin-off of Shatter Me, and it's called Watch Me. And I wanted to make sure that I read Shatter Me before I read that, because obviously I'm going to be reading that in April, and I'm so excited for that. So I think after this, Tahereh Mafi will already be my most read author of 2025, and I don't think anybody else is going to top it, because again, I've already read pretty much 8 books from her at this point, which is the entire Shatter Me series, which is 6 books, and I also read the 2 novellas in Shatter Me. So that's already 8 books, and then these 3 will be 11, and then Watch Me will be 12. And then the next book in This Woven Kingdom will be 13. I didn't even think about that she has 2 more 2025 releases this year. So I don't think anyone's going to top her, because I read 13 books from Sarah J. Maas last year, and nobody tops Sarah J. Maas. Regardless of how many Freida McFadden books I read last year, she still didn't get topped. So when I end up reading these authors that have longer series, and if I decide to read them, then they're obviously not going to be beaten, because I don't really think I have any other authors that I want to read more than maybe 3 or 4 books from. And really, that's only like Frederick Bachman, TJ Klune, and Kristen Hanna. They're like the big 3 that I really want to read more of their books from. So, because some of them I've only read 1 book from. Like Frederick Bachman, I've only read 1 book. TJ Klune, I've only read 1 book. And Kristen Hanna, I've only read 2 of her books. So that's the thing. Okay, I'm going to go and I will check in with you guys when I get probably over 200 pages in. I think that would be a good check-in time. I don't think I'm going to wait till I'm halfway through, but I want to give you like my general opinion like when I'm further into the book. So bye.
So hey guys, so I decided to make a check-in a bit earlier than 200 pages because I need to tell you what this book is actually about. So I read quite a bit before I go out. I have to get ready in like 10 minutes, but I just wanted to give you guys an update. So I'm on page 103, so I pretty much read almost another 100 pages. And this, I'm going to say this is very, very easy to read. I'm not confused in the slightest. Like, I know exactly what's going on, and I think that's what is good about Tahereh Mafi's writing, is that it's very, very easy to get into the world. But when I saw some reviews of this, people were like, I have no idea what happened. And it's like, it's not really that complicated. So basically it's about a girl named Eliza, and Cameron is the prince, and Eliza is a servant girl who's like very low class, and she has basically been shit on most of her life, and she keeps on referring to her parents because they're dead, and she is basically an orphan girl who has like no money and is like struggling to survive. And Cameron is the prince, and he obviously needs to find a bride to unite the kingdoms. So that's like a typical storyline that most fantasy or romantasy books use. But also there seems to be more to Eliza. Alize. I think it's Alize. Am I dumb? It's Alizeh. I think that might be Alize. Whatever. So, I'll look up the pronunciation later. So far, not much has happened, but also it seems that Eliza is being watched by the devil, and which is called the jinn in Persian mythology. And Cameron wants to find Eliza again because he believes there's a lot more to her than she appears, because she talks way more sophisticated than she should for the class that she's in, and also she can read, which are all like qualities of upper class as compared to lower class. So that's basically what's going on right now. She's tasked to like make these dresses for this rich woman, and she keeps on like rebelling against the like head of like the servants, and she keeps on getting slapped around because she keeps on like being outspoken to her, and she's like, you better watch your tongue, or you next time you're just not going to be working for us anymore. So that's pretty much what's going on. I do understand like the Cinderella references to it then, but she's not like an evil stepmother. She's not like related to her at all. So again, I think this is very easy to read. This one is the longest in the series though, the first book. The other 2 are significantly shorter. The second one is like 95 pages shorter, because this is almost 500 pages. The second one is like 402 pages. And then the third one is less than 400 pages. So think that's interesting, but also sometimes when, like I've said before, if fantasy books are shorter or get shorter, that sometimes is a bad sign. But I think that again, with Tahereh Mafi, it's not really as big of a deal. Because again, I feel like her writing's very fast paced and very easy to get into. But I'm not in love with this, but I'm not bored. I think it's intriguing enough for me to continue. And again, I'm not confused in the slightest. I think it's very easy to understand. So maybe like when I saw Brie Ashford's review of this, because she read it last month, she was like, I was just confused the whole time and I didn't really understand what was going on. And I'm like, but she said she was bored with reading this. So I do get that because this is slower than Shatter Me, but I'm still liking it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna probably not make another check-in until I'm like at least 60 or 70% of the way through with this. So hopefully like a lot more things will be happening. I probably won't get more into it until tomorrow. I mean, I'm definitely going to read some more tonight when I get home. Probably another like 50 or 60 pages. So my goal was to get at least through the first 150 pages because I think this book is going to take me at least 3 days to read because it is longer, but I'm glad that I started it before the middle of March because then I can get the series done by Sunday probably. So yeah, that's it. Bye.
Okay, so hey guys, I wanted to give you guys another check-in on where I'm at on This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. I wanted to do a halfway through check-in because sorry, my boyfriend's texting me, it's being annoying. So basically I'm halfway through and I'm still really liking what's going on. But there's like no tension between the two main characters yet, like romantic tension, because it's supposed to be a romantasy, and I understand that it's like a slow burn romantasy, and you know the princess is still, I mean not the princess, and I still can't say her name. It's even though I've heard it on the audiobook like a few times at this point because I actually started listening to the audiobook last night. It's Eliza, I think, not Alize. She is having second thoughts about the prince, but it's not any like thoughts of like attraction or any like feelings towards him yet, which I understand because she's very hesitant to, you know, get any closer to him, but at the same time, like there's like nothing that's like remotely like thinking that she has any thoughts and feelings for him yet. Like obviously she's thinking about him because they keep on encountering each other, and I think I just stopped at a point where the prince comes to her yet again, and now they're going to have another conversation. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But I am still interested about what is going to happen. I'm hoping that the build-up will be worth it, because usually it is with Tahereh Mafi books. It's always like very fast-paced at the end, and there's a lot of action usually. So, and there has been action in this. It's actually been fun. But mostly the action has just been like her getting attacked, like going home because she's a low class female in this society. So she's going to be vulnerable at night if she decides to go home at night. And she goes home at night like all the time, but since she's Jinn, she doesn't really have to worry that much. She warns the humans more so because she doesn't want to hurt them. But since they like constantly like don't leave her alone, she has to defend herself. So unfortunately, they end up getting beat up pretty bad, or she kills them. So anyway, I'm just hoping some more romance will happen at some point. But I'm not that bored. I'm getting a little bored because I just want the ball to happen at this point already. And also I think that this is a little bit too long for what it is, but Tahereh Mafi has a way of still intriguing me to keep me interested. Like, I'm still interested, but it's a little bit slow right now. it just picked up again. And again, I'm still enjoying it. So we will see what happens. I don't think this is going to be a 5-star though, because like, I feel like it's going to, wow, this is like a really short chapter. It's only like 4 pages. And so is the next chapter. So yeah, I'll probably get at least another 100 pages in today. I don't even have to go out until like a little bit before 6 tonight, because my boyfriend told me that he's coming here and he doesn't want to, we're just gonna go out to dinner. But he didn't even want to come to my town until like 6 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna read for like 4 hours. So works for me. I'm gonna try and put away some stuff too though, but we will see. It's only like 12:40 right now, so I have a lot of time to read today. But I do think this is a little bit too long. Like, I feel like, this could have been like maybe 400 pages, not 495 pages, but again, we'll see. At least I'm a little over 50% of the way through. So, like I said, I might not make a check-in again until I finish it, or maybe like a little bit closer to the end, like maybe like 80% in or something. But apparently I can't resist making check-ins. But since this is only 3 books, this video should not be longer than an hour, hopefully. I'm just trying to make like shorter reading vlogs, because literally the 24-hour readathon I just did was 2 hours long. Like, the reading vlog was 2 hours long, and I'm like, I need to shut up. So yeah, that's it. I will hopefully have an update for you guys later. I'm hoping to hit like page 400 today, because I don't think I'm gonna finish it today because it's just too long, but we'll see. I've actually been watching Desperate Housewives again, so I've been watching an episode of that every night. I've only started watching it like 2 days ago, so I've just watched like 2 episodes, but I'm like, maybe I should finally finish that series, because I stopped watching it for a long time. Like, when I started reading a lot more, I just stopped. So, but also, like, it just, the last 2 episodes I had watched, they were awful. Like, I'm like, what happened to this show? It used to be amazing. So, it's okay right now, but like, at least the episodes are watchable right now. They're not like terrible, but it's not the same as it used to be. So yeah, that's it for now. Bye. Okay, so hey guys, I wanted to give you guys my last check-in on This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. So I'm on page like 417. And what I can say about this book is that her writing is incredibly easy to read, even though this is not giving me everything that I thought it would. I think I just read a review of a YouTuber that I watch a lot. Her name's Mariana Moore. She's like best friends with Larry Reed's. And she just decided to read this literally at the same time I did. She just finished it though. And she posted her review, and she said that this was painfully boring. And I wouldn't say it's like so boring that I'm dreading reading it, even though I was like not wanting to pick it up a little bit earlier before, because I'm like, it's so damn long. But as soon as I start reading it, it is very fast to get through, because it is YA. But besides that, I am not feeling the romance between Eliza and Cameron at all. Like, none whatsoever. And there's not enough magic in here for me in order to be like, this is a really amazing YA fantasy. I would rather say, even though I know Once Upon a Broken Heart and Caraval are very juvenilely written, I think they're written in such a magical way that I would say and she mixes the magic and the romance very well for me, that they keep me more engaged and entertained, and it's not freaking 500 pages long. I think that's why the second and third books are shorter. I don't know why this book is so long. Like, there are definitely scenes that didn't need to be like 15 to 20 page chapters. And I honestly think that this book is 100 pages too long. I think it could have been like 395 pages. I think we could have cut out at least maybe a couple of chapters of this. But like I said, I feel like this is very disjointed. Like, it's sitting like at a 3.5, 3.75 for me. But also, I think the ending is going to make up for all of the buildup. But the slow burn romance, nope. It is not a steamy slow burn romance. It's definitely slow burn because literally there was nothing happening with the romance and the chemistry, which is kind of very surprising to me when it comes to Tahereh Mafi, because throughout the entire Shatter Me series, it was very dystopian YA, but it had a very heavy romance plot as well, that I could consider it almost YA dystopian romantasy. Because it was a very prominent love triangle within the first two books. And then the fourth book really, the third and fourth books really narrowed in on, oh my God, why can't I remember her name? Juliet and Warner's romance. And Kenji became almost a side character towards the end. So I feel like sometimes with her character building kind of gets a little bit misled. And also, like, the story of this, like I said, there's a lot of buildup and a lot of filler that's not really necessary. Like, I can see why people were like, it was kind of over descriptive writing because it's like unnecessary filler, but it's not like hard for me to read or understand. It's very easy to read still, but it's unnecessary to progress the plot. Like, we have to read like 5 pages of her talking about a dress that she has to make for this woman. I'm like, come on. It didn't have to be 5 to 10 pages long to make her decision about whether she's going to go to the ball, because obviously everything is building up to this ball that they're going to, and we know it's going to be a mess. Like, come on. But there was literally only one chapter. I mean, it was 20 pages long of Eliza's and, I know I'm probably keep on saying that wrong, and Cameron's romance, and they did kiss once, but that was it. And I feel like this is what I wanted to say, is that I feel like they are two completely separate character stories that aren't really coming together as well as I would like it to. Like, when they have scenes together, they've only spent a very limited amount of time together. And even in like my 5-star enemies to lovers, because this is an enemies to lovers, but it was very like Mariana said in her review, it was very insta lust, and I would say the same thing, because we never heard any really internal thoughts of either of them thinking about the other one, and like any sort of like a attraction to each other. Like, they never said like, oh my God, she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, like something like that, like or like, the stroke of her skin made me feel so different than anything else in my life, like, something like that. But there's nothing like that. And I thought, like I said, there was going to be a lot of like flowery writing, but I don't really feel that. Like, there's not enough quotes and flowing, beautiful, descriptive writing. It's very, I don't even think that the world building is that great in this. I felt like the world building in Shatter Me was better. So I know that people say it does get better throughout the series. I just, again, think that this first book was unnecessarily too long. That's my complaint about it. And again, the romance is severely lacking for me. So I wouldn't call this a romantasy. I wouldn't even really call this a fantasy because we're not even getting that much fantasy in this. But the progression of the story is interesting me enough. And honestly, the funniest scenes for me are with Cameron and his I guess his squire. Um oh my god, what's his name? They're so funny. There's like these scenes together that are hilarious with their I'm enjoying their banter. There was like one bantery scene between Cameron and Alize that was actually really funny. But besides that, that was like really the only conversation they had really had to build up to the kiss that they had. And that was it. So with Hazan and Cameron, let me see if I can find. Oh, it's like right here. It says, "You disloyal wrench, how can you even read such garbage?" Because like Hazan was reading like this gossip column about him basically. And Hazan's like, "I may have exaggerated a bit. The article was actually quite complimentary. Your random acts of kindness toward the lower class seem to have won the hearts of common folk who seem only too eager to praise your actions." And then Cameron's like, "Even so." And then Hazan's like, "Even so, you were kind to a Snoda then." And then he's like, "It's not worth discussing." And then he says, is it not, when you spent a great part of the morning in the company of your aunt at Ba's house, where we both know resides a young woman of interest, a young woman in Asnoda." And then Cameron's like, "Oh, shove off, Hazan." So those parts are funny, but like I said, it's a lot of filler, and I think I only have like 70 pages left though. Yeah, I think like 70 pages left. I don't know if I'm going to finish it tonight though, because I've already read like over 200 pages today. I think I only listened to like one chapter. So I did read like maybe like 180 pages today. So that's a lot. That's a lot. But it might be a little bit less than that because like the starts of these chapters are like the same as Shatter Me, where it's like a blank page. So maybe like still maybe like 150, maybe 160 pages, though that's still a lot. So I might just finish it tomorrow afternoon. I am going to listen to a couple more chapters though. So if I get up to like less than 40 pages left, then I'll just finish it. But if not, then I do want to watch some Desperate Housewives. So yeah, I'm going to go though because I need to shower and get ready for bed. But I will check in with you guys when I finish the book. So bye.
Y'all, I finished it already. I listened to like 3 chapters when I was getting ready for bed and everything, like showering and brushing my teeth and stuff. And then I just had like 3 more chapters to read, and I was already on page 470 at that point. So I just finished the last 25 pages right now. So I finished it already. A freaking almost 500-page book in 2 days. Like, I kind of tore through this. And if I hadn't had more time to read during the day today, because like usually me and my boyfriend hang out earlier on Wednesdays, but like his sister's been sick lately, so he hasn't wanted to get me sick. So we've been hanging out outside lately. Then I was able to have a lot more reading time today. And I finished it already, but I am feeling very, very conflicted about this book. Honestly, the ending felt really, really rushed. And it didn't really make up for the severe lack of romance and fantasy in this book. Like, all of the magic and build up happened in the last, like, again, like 3 chapters. And I would agree with Mariana's review, like 100%. But there were like some good moments in this for me, but nothing too memorable. But also it felt like the romance plot between Cameron and Eliza was very unnecessary. Like I said before, this was not a steamy it was definitely forbidden romance because they barely had any time together, and that's like the thing that sometimes is lacking with some romance or romantasy, is that lacking time together. Like, even again in slow burn romances, like Binding 13, they're still getting to know each other, and you still know that they're like destined to be together, but like since they're younger, and um it's still like a build up. Like I've said, even with Once Upon a Broken Heart and Caraval, I felt like the build up between the two characters, like with Jackson and Evangeline, even though Evangeline annoyed the shit out of me, or like Amelia and Wrath and Kingdom of the Wicked, even though Amelia was dumb, I still felt like the tension between the two of them. But like with this, and like again, even Shatter Me with Julian and Adam, not Julian, Juliet and Adam, even though Adam like ended up being like everybody's least favorite character, and she ended up being with Warner. And I'm not really spoiling when I say that, because like you pretty much figured out, if you've read the first book, that she ends up being with Warner anyway. Um, and I felt that Juliet and Warner had a much better enemies to lovers story. Even from the first book, like Warner did show like an interest in Juliet from the very get-go. But with this, it was just so weird, like the romance. There was just not enough scenes of romance literally at all in this. And I understand that might be like the culture uh in Persian culture, and he's the prince. So like yes, it is forbidden romance, but I felt the same way about this book. But this book was definitely a little bit more interesting than A Song to Drown Rivers. Um but with this, like it was too long for it to be like so rushed at the end. Like there was 400 and almost 470 pages of like build up about like what happened, and I felt a little bit confused by the end, because I felt like everything happened so fast, and I'm like, okay, like what and then but you do meet Cyrus at the end, but Cyrus is supposed to be like the main male character in the second and third book, and I think they do develop a romance, if I'm not mistaken. So I was like, what the fuck was the point of having a romance with Cameron and Aliza? I know he's the prince of her kingdom. That's why it's called This Woven Kingdom. But I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like it concentrated too much on not finding out. I mean, like we did find out quite a bit about Aliza, and like I said, the character building about her and Cameron was very interesting. But them together, I didn't fucking care. I really didn't care. So it's like, I don't know. Why do, like, I don't know if I said this before, but sometimes when there's like blurbs from like really big romantasy authors, like again, I've read all of Stephanie Garber's books, and she says, prepare to be destroyed, which, I don't know. I didn't even feel that way. Stephanie Garber's books have definitely destroyed me more. Like A Curse for True Love, devastated. Song of Silver Flame Like Night has like a really small romance subplot, but absolutely destroyed by that duology. So like this, I don't know. So I'm giving this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I honestly don't think this is a 4-star for me. I don't even want to give it a 3.75. It's going to stay at a 3.5 because I felt like the romance was just severely lacking in this one. So they only kissed once out of the entire book. And I'm like, honestly, I would have wished it was honestly just a fantasy book, because that would have made more sense. Like, this is not a romantasy. I'm sorry, but there was like barely any romance in this book. And again, even if it's like an agonizing slow burn, there was no, like I said, there was no tension between the two of them for you to actually care about the romance. So, as what it is, it is what it is. So, yeah, like, I don't even feel like explaining what else really happened. Like, because I feel like I'm a little bit confused, but that's what happened. So at the end, basically, she has to leave the kingdom, and she meets Cyrus, and he basically like takes her away. That's what happens. I'm not gonna say like why or how. So, um, hmm. I'm just reading the synopsis of this one. I'm excited for this one though. I think that this is going to be better, and also because it's 100 pages less, or like almost 100 pages less than the first one. So I don't know. I have a better feeling about this one. But like I said, most people say that it does get better. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still gonna read it. I'm still gonna probably crush this book in like 2 days too. So then I will have already read the first two books by the middle of March, which is great. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. So I will let you guys know when I start this tomorrow. It says, with the heat of a kiss, the walls between Eliza, a queen with no empire, and Cameron, the crown prince of the Ardunian Empire, have crumbled, and so have both of their lives. Cyrus, the mysterious copper-haired royal, has stolen Eliza away to Toulon, the neighboring kingdom where he rules. Cyrus has made a deal with the devil, one that will allow Eliza to finally claim the Jinn throne. Eliza wants nothing to do with Cyrus, but with the tantalizing promise of becoming the queen her people need, she's forced to wonder whether she can set aside her emotions to meet her destiny head on. So I guess there's like a love triangle setup happening, which Tahereh Mafi loves her love triangles. So, but I have a feeling I'm going to end up really loving Cyrus because everybody says Cyrus is the best character in this series. So, yeah, we're going to start this tomorrow. Bye-bye. Okay, so hey guys, so I wanted to make an update on that I started the second book in the This Woven Kingdom series, which is These Infinite Threads by Tahereh Mafi. So I got up to page 113. So I already got through the first 100 pages. I just listened to one chapter, which was like 10 pages. So I basically read 100 pages today already because I didn't start this until this, like, literally 2 hours ago, and I'm already 100 pages in because it's YA. It's not going to take me very long to read it. I am definitely enjoying this one more than the first one, but I'm still not feeling any connection between Eliza and Cameron. I'm actually feeling a lot more for Cameron's character right now than Eliza, because Eliza maybe like mentioned him for like one page, because right now she was taken away by Cyrus and now she's in Cyrus's kingdom. That's basically what happened in the first book, and like towards the end, it's not really a spoiler, like it literally says it on the back of this one on the synopsis. But literally she only thought about Cameron for like one page. And then it just went right back to like what she's doing. I don't know. There's something about this series that I'm not like, I feel like I'm not going to be obsessed with it. Like, I like Cyrus's character, and so far the scenes with Cyrus and Eliza have been the best part of this so far. They're very funny, their banter back and forth, but I'm already feeling the chemistry between her and Cyrus as compared to her and Cameron in the first book. And definitely this one is moving way faster, but at the same time, I'm still like waiting for something more to happen. I know we only went through the first 100 pages, so I think it's definitely going to pick up. I think there's not going to be as much of a like more settling tone in the middle of this book as compared to the first one. But since I was so conflicted about the first one, again, I'm not really feeling that much with Eliza's character at the current moment. Like, I really think that Cameron, he got betrayed by like everybody by the end of the first book. So I'm really enjoying his scenes of his character more, because like each chapter is either from Cameron's perspective or Eliza's perspective. It just switches off. It's not really triple POV, but also it is in third person, and usually Tahereh Mafi writes in third person. But as of this current moment, I'm still more of a fan of Shatter Me. I definitely enjoyed that series a lot more. I definitely fell in love with the characters a lot more in Shatter Me. Right now, I like Cyrus, but I'm not like, oh my god, I'm so obsessed with him. But again, I'm definitely feeling the chemistry between them a lot more. So we'll see as I get further in. I'm probably not going to make another check-in until I'm probably maybe like 60-ish% in, or maybe I'll make one when I'm halfway through. I'm not really sure yet. At least like around the 200s is when I'll make another check-in, because this book is only 400 pages as compared to the first one. But so far I am enjoying this one more. So we will see where it goes, but so far like it's still like written in the style of the first one, that like I don't really care about the characters in this as much as I did in Shatter Me. So I guess we're gonna have to see, but I'm definitely feeling more of the romance in this so far. So yeah. But then I feel so bad for Cameron, because it's like, again, what the fuck was the point of, even making or developing or trying to develop a romance between both of them in the first book, when it's not really going to be carried over into the second one. Oh, and Cameron's also thinking about her a lot more than she's thinking about him, because he's already had like a few pages in each chapter trying to like figure out what Eliza was doing with him, and whether or not she was trying to betray him in the first place. So that's basically where we're at right now. And we're getting some more dragons in this book, which is fun, but I'm just not obsessed with this. So I really thought I was going to like it a lot more than I thought, but I'm definitely excited to see where this one goes. I think it's definitely going to be better than the first one. So we will see. So bye. Okay, so hey guys. So I wanted to let you guys know where I'm at in the second book in the This Woven Kingdom series by Tahereh Mafi. So this is These Infinite Threads is the second book. So I'm on page 227. Yeah, 227. So I'm a little bit over 50% of the way through. So I wanted to give you guys a check-in. So I don't know. I'm not really loving it still. I haven't really fallen in love with this series. I feel like when I'm done with this, I'm not going to be thinking about it like I was with Shatter Me. I felt like with Shatter Me, I fell in love with the characters a lot more. And I don't know. There's just something about this series that I don't really love. I like Cyrus, but again, I'm not like flat out obsessed with him. I definitely liked Warner as a character a lot more in Shatter Me than I did Cyrus. Like, Tahereh Mafi, like I said, she loves her love triangles, but also nothing has really happened between Cyrus and Eliza, and I understand it's more slow burn again, but at the same time, like, I was feeling a bit more chemistry between them, but not enough to be like, oh my god, like, I'm so invested in their romance, because honestly, I'm really not. And the only like glimpses of romance that we're getting is still Cameron's internal thoughts about Eliza. And him and Hazan are having like more conversations now, which are really funny. And then we have the chapters with Eliza and Cyrus where they're bantering, but besides that, there's not really that much going on. It's like there's not enough action or high stakes. Like they always keep on talking about like a war is coming, but also like you don't really hear about their subjects and their people and like whether or not they like protest the way things are. Like that's what I would expect from like a kingdom kind of setting, and I don't know, it's just like I'm a little bored again, and people said it gets better, and I do think this is a little bit better, but it's still like not really like there's not as much layers to these characters as there were in Shatter Me. And I know Shatter Me was longer, but again, I'm just not really invested in them. So, like, yeah, Cyrus is great and whatever, but like he's not like a shadow daddy, which he doesn't have to be in order for me to be like obsessed with him or like love him. It's just like I just feel like there's not enough going on. Like I don't know. There's something about this where I just want more. We're still not even getting any really that much magic in this. And I'm like, where is the magic that they keep on talking about, you know? Like it's just very slow burn for like everything, but again, there's absolutely no sexual or romantic tension going on. And again, I feel like I know that Eliza um and Cameron are separate right now, but there's no like yearning on Eliza's part. There's not like enough of her like asking like about Cameron. She only like literally this was only like the second time that she gave him a second thought. Like if she was actually in love with him and like really wanted to be with him, she'd be thinking about him like all the time. There'd be like little things in her head being like, I really hope he's okay, or something like that. You know, like something like a passage about like how much she loves him and wants to be with him, but there's nothing like that. There's no like yearning in this. And I felt like there was more in like Heavenly Bodies or like Fear the Flames and Quicksilver, and those are all adult romances, but like I said before, I've read plenty of YA romances or fantasies that have felt like there was a lot more romance and yearning. Like I just read The Rose Bargain at the end of February, and that I think that was besides The Scorpion and The Night Blossom, that was like the last romantasy that I had read. And I definitely felt more of like a passion between the characters. And there was a lot of characters to keep track of in that book, but we got like so much out of them that it ended up being like a much better, well written story. Again, I don't know what it is about this series, but I'm just kind of bored. And it just like takes forever to get to like a certain point. And also like there's barely any action going on in this one. There's just like not enough happening that I'm like, I don't know. I really thought I was going to love this series as much as I did Shatter Me, but so far I'm not really that invested in this. So I'm obviously going to finish out the series because, again, they are incredibly fast to read. I can't really explain that they're so fast to read, but at the same time, like, not enough is happening to keep my interest that I'm bored, but it's still fast paced. So I don't know what to tell you, but basically, like, they're still apart from each other, and that's all that's really happening. There's not really much happening that I can really explain, so, and I don't want to spoil it, so I'm just giving you guys my thoughts. So I should be done with this by tomorrow night. Now I have less than 200 pages left. I think I only have like 170 pages now, so should easily finish it tomorrow. So yeah, I'll let you guys know when I'm done. So bye.
So hey guys, so I wanted to give you guys one more update on where I'm at in these Infinite Threads by Tahereh Mafi before I leave the house. Because I think I'm gonna go finish this at the library because I haven't been to the library in like a week and I want to go read there. Even though I'm probably gonna be able to go again next week because I'm not really working right now. But this is the second book, obviously, in the This Woven Kingdom series. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that. I am still feeling the same way as I did before. I feel like the romance is awkward in this book and in this series. even though I do like Cyrus more, I do really like Cameron as a character, actually. I don't hate him. What I hate is Eliza's indifference to him. Like, again, there was no internal conflict with her to debate whether or not she should take action with Cyrus. And they finally kissed. And it was almost 300 pages in where Cyrus and Eliza finally fucking kissed. But again, like, I don't know. I just don't feel invested enough in these characters in order to really care about the romance at this point. And like I said before, I cared a hell of a lot more about Warner and Juliet in Shatter Me. It's just, I don't know what it is. I just don't really love. I think I'm getting to the point where people realized in the first book of This Woven Kingdom that people didn't really like Eliza, and I'm kind of feeling the same way. She's kind of like annoying me at this point. Because she acts so like scared and naive and blah blah blah, and I understand that was Juliet and Shatter Me, but honestly I felt like she had more of a reason to, because we got so much background about Juliet's past and the reason why she is how she is, because she was such a layered character, and we found out like so much throughout the series. And like I said, even though Defy Me and Imagine Me were not the best in the series, I still think the series as a whole is a 5-star series for me. This one, it's sitting at like a 3.5 still overall, not even a 4-star, which is crazy because I really thought I was gonna like these books just as much as the Shatter Me series. But I'm on page 332, so I only have a little bit over 70 pages left, or maybe it's just 70 pages because it's 402 pages and we're at 332. So let me just, I don't know why I can't do math. I think it's exactly 70 pages actually. Yeah, exactly 70 pages. So I'm going to listen to it going to the library. I also want to get some lunch. So I'm probably going to end up listening to at least a couple more chapters in the car. So I should be able to get up to most likely like 50 pages by the time. Oh my God, I have to bring these with me. If I forget to bring my AirPods again, I'm going to scream. Like, for some reason, my library is so fucking loud. I don't know why everybody's so freaking loud there. It's like even the staff members, like when they're helping people find a book, they're so freaking loud. And it's like, why is everybody fucking yelling in this library all the time? Or like kids are running around and screaming. And I'm like, this is a library. It's not a playground. And I seem to be the only one that's bothered by it because literally nobody else fucking says anything. And I'm like, why? So that's why sometimes I avoid going there, but hopefully it'll be okay. I mean, it is a Friday, so I don't know, and it's after 2 o'clock. I wanted to get to the library earlier, but you know, my procrastinating ass takes forever to get somewhere, but I'm about to leave. I just need to put my shoes on. But yeah, I'm just like, there was literally no internal conflict with Eliza debating whether or not she should kiss Cyrus. He kissed her, and she was like afraid of him because he had like passed out from like, because he's under like this devil's curse, and you pretty much figured that out if you've read the series. I'm not going to be like too careful about spoilers because honestly, why would you be watching this video if you haven't read the series yet? Or probably no one's going to watch it anyway, but I did get quite a few views for my Shatter Me vlog, but I do think overall her Shatter Me series is obviously way more popular than this one. But it's just, I don't know, I can't put my finger on why I don't really like this series as much. Even though like it has more flowery, descriptive writing, I think the writing is a little stale for me. I'm not real, even though there's like a lot of description about, you know, the atmosphere and everything, it's not like flowing enough for me to be like, oh my God, this writing is so beautiful. I don't really feel like that at all. I'm just like, okay, there's a firefly flying around. Like, I don't know. It's just like, and it's still like the plot is still like all over the place, I feel like. And again, I still feel like that Cameron and Eliza are just living two separate lives right now. And again, they are still separated. But Cameron was supposed to go to Toulon, but he still hasn't went yet. So I'm sure he's going to show up within the last, like, not even 50 pages, maybe like 30 pages. And all the shit's going to go down again in the last couple of chapters. I don't know. We're going to have to see how this ends. But right now, it's kind of sitting at the same rating as the first book was. I don't think this got better enough for me to be like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this series, because I really don't feel that much for the characters. I feel very indifferent to them. And I feel like in especially series, if you don't fall in love with the characters, it's very hard for me to connect to the story, because like you're spending so much time with these characters, like throughout Throne of Glass or Fourth Wing or ACOTAR or Once Upon a Broken Heart or Caraval, Shatter Me, Belladonna, Lightlark. You spend so much, Cruel Prince, you spend so much time with these characters. Even Six of Crows, even though it was only a duology, the reason why people love that duology is because you feel so much for those characters. And even though there was multiple POVs, the way that Leigh Bardugo balances them is amazing. And you are a lot more invested with the character. That was kind of the opposite for me, but also, again, this is still not, I don't know. It's still not grabbing me. I'm still not like, oh my God, I can't put this book down. So I'm just going to listen to it a little bit in the car, because I still have my Libby, what do you call it? Loan, to listen to it a bit more. I mean, they were so easy to borrow, obviously, because they're an older series, so it's not like everybody's going to be wanting to read them right now. And at least I didn't pay for these books, because I got this whole series with a gift card that one of my closest friends gave to me for my birthday last year. So I bought this entire series with that gift card from Barnes and Noble. I thought this was $3.87. It's $3.97. But we should be able to finish these Infinite Threads by, a couple of hours from now. So then I'm probably going to take a break until dinner, and then I'm going to start this after dinner. I feel like I'm going to need a little break after that, because unless, it changes my mind with the ending of the second book, then I'll be like, oh my God, I need to see what happens. Like, I really liked the thing that I really like about, I still love her writing. Like, she's still going to be my most read author this year. And I have 2 new releases that I'm going to read from her. I'm literally reading a new release from her in April. So I'm still going to be reading her books this year, but I did want to catch up with the previous books before those books came out. So I'm glad that I ended up choosing this series for this month. And then I have to read The Hunger Games to catch up for that. But I think I'm going to be obsessed with The Hunger Games, even though I've seen the movies. I'm like the last person in the world to read the books. But anyway, hopefully this will change my mind. I don't think this is going to take too long. Also, I'm going to be able to start this later, but I'm not going to have that much time to physically read it tomorrow, because I'm going to be out for most of the day. That's like my only big day of plans tomorrow, because I'm seeing a few of my friends tomorrow. And I think I'm mostly just going to be listening to this in the car, driving to my friend, and when I'm getting ready and stuff. So I'm definitely going to borrow the audiobook from the library for this one. And I should be able to hopefully get through the first 100 pages when I'm out. Because I'm not really going to have anybody in my car until later in the day. So I should be able to get through a significant amount of this. If I start it tonight, I want to read at least like the first 50 pages tonight. And then we'll see when we go from where we get to tomorrow, then I should at least be able to listen to the next 50 pages. And then I'm probably just going to binge the book on Sunday, but I'm also going to read a little bit of it when I get home tomorrow. I don't know what time I'm getting home, but it shouldn't be too late, but yeah, after that, I don't really have any other plans until like Wednesday, so I'm not really sure what else I'm doing after that. So yeah, I will check in with you guys when I finish this book. So, and I know I said that with the last update, but I just wanted to give you guys a brief update because it's just frustrating me because it's like, and also we still have had no other progression with like the magic system and everything. I've been waiting for, we're again just getting little glimpses of the magic system, but we're not really getting enough explained. So it's making me want more fantasy or like magic or like the magical aspect of these books. And we're not really getting it. It's not even like really like a fairy tale vibe. I'm just like bored. So, and even though again, I like Cyrus more than I liked Cyrus and Eliza's romance more because we got more of their scenes. I still don't feel the tension between them whatsoever. And I think it's because I'm really struggling to connect to Eliza's character because we're in her head the most. I feel more towards Cameron as a separate story than I do Eliza. And I actually feel more for Cyrus. I'm struggling really, really hard to connect with Eliza's character. I really connected with Juliet's character because I felt like she grew up with the course of the books, because in the beginning I thought she was annoying, but then throughout the series you really grow to understand why Juliet is so naive because in Shatter Me it was very high stakes. So, but with this, I feel like it's just too slow and it's too flat for me. And I feel like most of the book is just filler. And I'm waiting for some action to happen, some magic to happen. Like, what is going on? Like, and we only have 70 pages left, and I feel like it's going to be rushed again at the end. I feel like I'm going to feel the same exact way as the first book. So, I don't know. Just frustrating. So, yeah, bye. Okay, guys. So, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did finish these Infinite Threads. Why Can't I Speak? By Tahereh Mafi, and this is the second book in this Woven Kingdom. You guys, I feel the same way about this book as I did about the first one. This is another 3.5. There's good moments in this book, but then there's some painfully slow moments that it's like, I'm really struggling to care about this series because, and I actually think the payoff in this book, sorry, I forgot to take my bookmark out. I've been using these little dragon bookmarks from the Fourth Wing. Bookmarks are so cute. And also there are dragons in here, but honestly we know nothing about the dragons. So I'm so frustrated with this because I really want to love this series and I just don't. It's just very stale. They only, again, kissed once in the entire book. And then she was kind of struggling about her feelings about Cyrus after that. But we just got another, 100 pages of boring. It's just... And, there was literally not even any action at the end of this one. It was just about, Cameron still debating on when he's going to Toulon. And that was it. That's all that happened at the end of the book. So I'm like, okay, so he hasn't even started his journey yet. We have to wait till book 3 now to see how he gets to Toulon. So, I'm just struggling to care because I really don't understand how people say that this is better than the Shatter Me series, to be honest, because I don't even think that the Shatter Me series is considered romantasy, but let me see. I just thought it was YA dystopian fantasy. Young adult dystopian fiction. It doesn't even say romantasy, but like I've said before, I feel more of the romance in Shatter Me than I do in this series, and this is considered YA romantasy. And I'm just not feeling it. Again, I'm not even feeling the magic. No fucking magic happened at the end of this book. And I was really struggling because when this book first started off, I was very invested. The first 100 pages were really good. But then it was we had to get through, and I actually had high hopes for the middle of this book. I was I think I'm going to like the middle of this book more so than the first one. And then we just got agonizing, boring details about, and we keep on getting glimpses of things that are going to be mentioned like later on, but they're not like expanded and explained enough to care. Like they give us she gives us little bits of magic, and I'm like, okay, is she gonna explain why this is like the way this magic works? And she doesn't. And I'm just like, why are we introducing points that don't go anywhere? Like, and I understand, again, that keeps you like intrigued and wanting to read it, but honestly, it's just making me fucking annoyed. And like, also, if I read that Eliza wants to scream literally one more time, I am going to scream because she mentioned it maybe like 5 times in one chapter. And I'm like, okay, this is getting fucking annoying. And again, she had no internal struggle about Hazan, or not Hazan, Cameron and what he's up to. Literally 0 mention of him. Again, she only thought about him literally twice. And that was it. So clearly she didn't really care about moving on from him. So I guess she didn't really care about him as much as he cares about her. Because I really feel like she was just deceiving his ass the whole time. And what's even more annoying is, again, she's acting so fucking naive, and at this point, it's getting to be fucking annoying because, like I said, in Shatter Me, it was way more understandable as to why Juliet was so naive. But with this, it's getting to be annoying and stupid at this point, and I'm just, literally the last 10 pages of this book, I was so beyond bored. I'm like, where's the action? Literally 0. Literally nothing. Also, nobody's gotten killed. Nobody's died yet. There's not even like any high stakes. There was no high stakes in this book. At least in the first book, like somebody got killed and there was magic and it was a little bit more worth it for the payoff at the end. This one was not. And again, I really thought I was going to fall in love with Cyrus. I like him, but I think he's a little bit annoying at this point, too. I'm just annoyed by all the characters. Like I said, I'm more invested in Cameron's story than I am with Eliza and Cyrus. Because Eliza is just annoying the shit out of me. So, yeah, rant over, but I'm just saying, like, I'm getting aggravated with this series, but I finished this in a day and a half. Like, this took me no time to finish. Because I listened to one more chapter in the car. It was like a 30-minute chapter. And by the time I had gotten to the library, I still had like 15 minutes of it to listen to. But also, the audiobook narrator's voice annoys me too. And I'm like, Tahereh, when are you going to stop picking like annoying voices for your audiobook narrations? Because this voice is okay, but literally every time she talks, because it's only narrated by her. It's not multi POVs or multi, voices like Shatter Me. And that's what made Shatter Me more enjoyable to listen to as well. But I literally could not stand Kenji's voice, but I liked Juliet's and Warner's voices. But with this audiobook narrator, she's like a British woman. But every time she talks from the male characters' perspectives, like Cameron and Cyrus, she makes them sound like old men. She's like, come back, and I'm like, like that kind of like wheezy, kind of like trembling, kind of wheezy voice, and I'm just like, they sound like they're fucking 100 years old when they're like probably like in their 20s or something, or like younger than that. I'm like, why is she making them sound like old men? So it kind of like takes me out of the story a little bit because I can't get over like the way that she makes them sound. It's like distracting. But at least I was able to borrow these books free from the library. So now I'm going to borrow the third one. But I really wanted to have a week of romantasy. And honestly, so far, the only romantasy book that was somewhat impressive was The Scorpion and the Night Blossom. I did really like it. I didn't love it because I do think that I struggled with connecting to the character's romance, but I loved the fantasy and the magic system because, like I said, nobody writes magic like YA fantasy like Emily Wenzel. It's just so beautiful, and I honestly think that her writing flowed better and was more beautiful than this. Like I said, I literally could not find an inch of beautiful, flowy, flowery kind of writing in this. I don't know. Again, I feel like the writing is very stale to me, and I am just really struggling. So that is it. Rant over. I'm not even going to bother talking about it anymore. So we're going to start All This Twisted Glory later today. Like I said, I'm going to take a break though because I'm just getting frustrated by this. But like these books are so beautiful. Like there's such beautiful covers, and just like the inside is like it's not matching like the energy of the outside. And from what I've seen, the reviewers that I've seen read the first book, they have decided to DNF the series, like Brie Ashford, Batty Bean, and Mariana Moore. Mariana Moore, like I said, just read the first one and she said she didn't like it. And she also said she wasn't even sure if she wanted to continue. She said even though she did hear about Cyrus, she was like, she's not sure if it's worth it. And I might tell her, girl, I don't think it is, to be honest. And then Batty Bean only read the first book and she said she was bored and she said that she didn't want to continue the series and she prefers Shatter Me over this series. And she's the only other the only other book like influencer that I know that has read both series. Well, she's read all of Shatter Me and she said that she enjoyed Shatter Me more than This Woven Kingdom. But then Brie Ashford, like I said, she had just read the first book like a few weeks ago, and she said she decided to DNF the series because she didn't like the first book enough. And honestly, I don't blame her. So the only other influencer that I know has read both series is Emmy Rossum, and I love Roseham, I believe, and I love her videos and I love her reviews, and she reads a shit ton of romantasy, but she had claimed that This Woven Kingdom was better. Oh, and Booked and Busy. She's only read the This Woven Kingdom series. She hasn't read Shatter Me, and she said that she was obsessed with this series. And I'm like, girl, for somebody that reads a lot of romantasy, and the same thing with Emmy Rossum, I'm like, there's barely any romance in these books. Like, again, I feel like Shatter Me could be considered a YA dystopian romantasy series. I think it has way more romance in it than this series does. So, unfortunately, I'm just not having the best time. I'm hoping the third book will impress me more, because then after this, obviously, I don't have to read more until the fourth book comes out. Also, I've heard that this one leaves off on a cliffhanger. This wasn't even that much of a cliffhanger that, honestly, if I had to wait for the third book, I wouldn't be upset, to be honest. The first book was a better cliffhanger, but I wasn't like, oh my god, like, I can't wait to read the second one because I wasn't really that intrigued to read it. But since Booked and Busy said that she loved this series, and I think she ended up rereading it as well, and she said that she was thinking about rating the series 5 stars. I'm like, it's not a 5-star series for me. But Emmy Roseham said that she liked This Woven Kingdom more than Shatter Me because she's read both. And also Monica Fortner. Monica rated each book 5 stars. And I'm like, I'm just struggling to agree. I'm like, I don't think these are 5-star reads for me. Like, you know, Shatter Me is a longer series and you spend a lot more time with these characters. But again, like, the time that I'm spending with these characters, I just don't really care that much. So yeah, it is what it is. So I'm going to check in later to let you guys know what I get up to in All This Twisted Glory. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey guys, so I wanted to let you guys know that I started the third book in the This Woven Kingdom series, which is All This Twisted Glory by Tahereh Mafi. Sorry if it glitched a little bit there. My computer was just switching to night mode, so it like just literally transforms like the box that the photo booth is filmed in, and it just turns black instead of white. So anyway, I am on page 61. So I literally just started this and I'm already on page 61. I read like 45 pages of it and then I just listened to like 2 chapters. And so far, this one is a little bit more intriguing, but honestly only with Cyrus's story so far, because we are getting his POV in this one, not just Eliza's and Cameron's. We're getting all three of their POVs in this. It starts off with Cyrus's POV, so that one was a little bit more interesting. It kind of grabbed my attention a little bit more because I do want to know more about Cyrus's character. But I'm still struggling to find the connection between these three characters because, like, you know, with Cyrus, Cameron, and Eliza. And again, Cameron is still thinking about Eliza, and Eliza does not give Cameron a second thought still. All she's thinking about is Cyrus. She is not thinking about Cameron. So again, I feel bad for Cameron, but at least he was able to get back his friend in the second book. I wasn't going to say his name because I feel like it's kind of a spoiler from the first book, so I won't. But I love how my mom just like went to sleep and didn't say goodnight, but whatever. There's also something in my teeth that's like bothering the shit out of me, but it's whatever. I'm about to take a shower anyway. So I just wanted to start this book tonight because, like I said, I am not going to have that much reading time tomorrow, so I was mostly just going to listen to the audiobook. And I basically only wanted to get through the first 50 or 60 pages. I'm going to listen to a couple more chapters, though, so I'll probably get up to page, like, 75 or 80, which honestly is great, so I am not complaining about that whatsoever. I think that's a great start to get up to, and then hopefully I can listen to maybe, like, 100 pages tomorrow, or at least, like, 60 to 70 pages while I'm getting ready and when I'm driving to meet my friend for brunch. But anyway, let's not talk about tomorrow. Let's talk about right now. So the scenes between Cameron and Hassan are literally hilarious. Like, they're really making me laugh because their banter is just so funny. And honestly, like, there hasn't been that many scenes with Eliza and Cyrus already because Cyrus is trying to stay away from Eliza right now because of his curse that he's under. So hopefully we will get a little bit more of that explained as to why he has to stay away from her and all of that. But honestly, like, the build up to these things, it just, like I said, it takes too long to get there. And they're like, literally in the second or third chapter, she said, like, her and Cyrus had literally not done anything, so that means that they have not kissed since that one time that they kissed in the second book, 300 pages in. So yeah. Like, where is the romance in this? Like, I don't care if it's a slow burn. Like, we already know that they want to be together. Like, I understand that he's under a curse, but it would be nice to get a description and to see, like, their pining thoughts for each other, like, which is happening. But again, it feels a little bit awkward in this, so I don't know. This one's a little bit shorter, though, and I should definitely be finished with this by Sunday. Hopefully by Sunday, like, evening, or, like, by Sunday afternoon would be great. Like, I finished the second book this afternoon. And then, like I said, I did take a break from it because me and my mom watched a movie. I had dinner with my family, and then we watched a movie after dinner because I didn't really feel like picking this up after the disappointment of the second book. So hopefully there will be some more action in this and all of that. But again, there's just so much setup that it's like, we already know this. Like, can we just get to, like, why this is happening to the characters and develop a little bit more of that, not like 20 pages of, like, the same thing that we don't really care about. And it's like, I'm struggling to understand why people think this series is better than Shatter Me. And I know that there's such polarizing opinions between the two series. It seems that either people love the Shatter Me series and don't love the series as much, which is the side that I'm on, or they love this series and don't really like Shatter Me that much. So I feel like I'm very just not invested in this series. And again, when I was picking this up, I was kind of dreading it because I'm like, I don't even know if it's worth it at this point, but I do want to catch up with this series before the fourth book comes out, but that doesn't even come out until September. But I wanted to binge a romantasy series this week, and it just, like, this hasn't really been fulfilling, like, my fantasy, like, needs right now when it comes to romantasy. So, like, but this was one of the only other romantasy series that I owned at the current moment. I do have an Ember in the Ashes, but I think that's YA fantasy. And also the Infernal Devices is also YA fantasy, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's romantasy. And the rest of the books on my other shelf are mostly fantasy. Some of them are romantasy, like Dance of Thieves and Bridge Kingdom. But honestly, I'm kind of kicking myself for binging this series over reading the King of Scars duology because I honestly probably would have loved it. And I honestly really wanted to get to that duology this month because I put it off in January and February, and then I'm still not getting it to it this month or probably next month either. So, yeah. But that series has been out for years anyway. I can read that at any time. Like, this is different when I'm trying to get up to date with certain series, but yeah, at this point, like I said, I am still a Shatter Me stan. I really love that series. Oh, the thing that I was going to say is that the main characters formed a certain camaraderie for each other. Like, just because Juliet didn't end up being with Adam and she ended up being with Warner, um Juliet then became a lot closer with Kenji than Adam was, and he became her best friend, even though Kenji was, she was never with romantically. Like, she dumped, like I said, she dumped the love triangle after like the third book. And then it was just her and Warner. And that's why I loved the fourth book so much, because it was just from Warner and Juliet's perspectives. And then Warner and Kenji finally became friends in like the middle of the fourth book, I think. I know they were definitely trying to become friends in the fifth book. I don't know if it started in the fourth book though. I can't remember. But just like all of that banter and camaraderie was just like so important in that. In these, I feel like the characters' stories are just too separate from each other, even though I know that Cameron he's still not in Toulon, all right? He's still not there. He still hasn't even started his journey yet. He keeps on talking about he's going to start his journey, but he hasn't started it yet. So that's really annoying me too. The only interesting chapters so far have been from Cyrus's point of view. So yeah, I don't know if it's worth it just to try and figure out one character's story, but here we are. So I'm going to check in probably when I'm like halfway through this book, because this is the last check-in I'm going to make today, and hopefully I'll be able to make a check-in tomorrow night after I'm hopefully halfway through. So we'll see. So bye! Okay, so hey there, guys. So I wanted to give you guys a reading update on reading the third book in the This Woven Kingdom series, which is All This Twisted Glory by Tahereh Mafi. I got pretty far in this today. I read up to page 118 last night. That was after I made a check-in where I was up to page like 60-ish. And then today I got up to page 301 because I only read like a little bit of it physically this morning. I think I only read I read like 20 pages last night actually. So I think I got up to page like 130. And then I read like 25 pages this morning before I had to get ready, but I didn't really have that much reading time this morning. So like I said, I was just going to listen to the audiobook for the majority of the day, because I was going to be going out pretty early to see my friends. But I did get through 100 pages of it while I was getting ready and when I was driving back and forth to seeing my friends. And also I didn't have to end up picking up anybody, so I was able to listen to it the whole time I was in the car. And then I just read like, how much did I read when I got home? Maybe like almost 40 pages. So I read like 65 pages physically. And honestly, you guys, I just have no interest in this series, to be honest. It has been so hard. I mean, there were some moments in this one that I was a bit more interested, but I feel like it's the same thing as like the first two books, is that I'm a little bit more engaged in the beginning, and I think it's going to get a little bit more interesting. But then like again, I just feel like the characters finally came together in this book. But even like the scenes with with all of them together now, it's just so awkward and weird because like Cameron wants to kill Cyrus, but then he's like constantly reasoning with him on why he doesn't want to kill him, or they like talk and then it's like, but I want to kill you still. And I don't know, it's just like such stupid banter that it's like it's just kind of pointless at this point. And honestly, like I'm struggling, like I said, to care about this plot and these characters anymore. It's just it just takes too long again to get anything explained, and then once it is, it's kind of like not very well executed. Like we finally got up to the point where Eliza is going to use her abilities more, and then that was like literally just cut off so quickly. And Eliza didn't even make the connection that her sorry, I need to be quieter because my mom went to sleep early because she's not feeling that well, so I need to stop yelling. But like Eliza got up to the point where she was like, maybe my powers are magical. And it's like, no shit, girl. You didn't think that this whole time? Like, it's not like people didn't tell you. I don't know. There's just like, it's just built up where it's like, girl, you're not dumb. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this series anymore. I don't even know what's really going on because I'm just, even as I'm reading this physically, I'm just so painfully bored, or I just like, as soon as we get up to something that's an explanation, I just don't care. Even the scenes with like Eliza and Cyrus finally trying to, get any romance scenes out of them. Cyrus still can't be with her because of his curse, which I get, but like honestly, it's agonizing at this point. And like Cameron's there staying in the palace, and like literally the only interesting plot lines are of Cyrus's curse and Cyrus's mother, because honestly Cyrus's mother is probably the most interesting character to me right now, because she treats her son like shit. But Cameron's mother also treats her son like shit. But also, we found out that Cyrus's father is under a devil's curse as well. And that was the most interesting part of the entire book so far. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, he was the only character that I felt genuinely bad for. But also, I feel like he did something really, really bad. But also, we don't know why Cyrus was cursed either, because he won't talk about it. So... just like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I fear if I don't pick up a mood read after this, I'm not going to want to read. I fear this might actually put me into a book slump. Like, actually put me into one. Because the books I've been reading lately, I've just been so bored. Like, with these and with the audiobook I'm listening to, which is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. My Libby loan actually expires tomorrow, and I literally have no interest in continuing it. I'm just bored to tears. And I really wanted to have like a good romantasy week, but the last good romantasy that I read was The Scorpion and the Night Blossom, and that was a good book. So I don't think it's because I don't want to read, it's because the books that I'm reading right now aren't that great. So I did want to follow the rest of my TBR after this, but I don't know if I might just pick up a palette cleanser after this to hopefully finish my TBR for the month. I'm thinking about just picking up Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. And what would be funny if I read that is that if I, finish this and then I finish Not in Love, I will have read all of the books that I picked up with my friend's gift card the day my birthday last year. I will have finally read all the books that I picked up that day. Because I also picked up Not in Love at the same time I picked up these 3 books. But honestly, I'm seriously thinking about giving these books away. Regardless of how pretty they are. And I don't think this is going to get any better. There's still no action in this. The only action we got was with Cameron and Cyrus. And I don't know if I missed... Oh my God, this frustrated me so much. I don't know if I missed how Cameron got to Toulon. But the build-up to him taking a journey to Toulon was not even worth it, because all of a sudden, poof, he was there. And I was like, wait, how did he get there? Because I was listening to it in the car and I might have tuned out a couple of times because like I was at the point where I just didn't care, and also I was just focusing on driving, but still like it just sounded like background noise to me. There was like nothing happening that was really gripping my attention. I paid more attention when I was driving to Smith Haven and when I was driving home. But even when I was driving home, I was like, I don't care. I really don't. But I was like, when the fuck did Cameron, Hazan, and Miss Huda all show up in Toulon? I was like, again, how the fuck did they get there? And I thought it was going to be more of like a journey of them getting there. And then it was like all of a sudden they were there. They storm in. Cyrus is like in the bushes wanting to shoot Cameron with an arrow. And then Eliza blocks Cameron's arrow because he returns fire because he wants to kill Cyrus, and ends up blocking his arrow, and Cameron ends up shooting Eliza, and she ends up passing out. And I was like, you love her so much, you end up shooting her. I'm like, great. And then Eliza's passed out for a fucking month. A month. I was like, this is the plot? I don't know, there's just like nothing magical happening. There's still barely any romance. Nobody's kissing. Nobody's fucking, like, even the conversations that they have, I don't care anymore. Because the buildup was just not worth it. And I was like, how is this the same person that wrote Shatter Me? Because, like, even though these books are like, this book is shorter, it feels like everything that she talks about is just so long-winded and descriptive. And honestly, some of the themes that keep on getting brought up are getting to be repetitive at this point. Like with Eliza's past, I'm like, I just don't care. I don't care anymore. And I don't want to keep on saying that to repeat myself, to be as repetitive as this book, but I don't know. And also, like, people found out that Eliza is the long lost queen. So now, like, her subjects want answers from her. And when she finally goes to talk to them, someone tries to kill her. And Eliza was like, maybe I should have thought about that earlier because I don't really have a kingdom. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, girl. And then Cameron was like, what the fuck were you thinking? And so did Hazan. And I was like, honestly, I don't blame them. She was like, I had to talk to them. It just sounds so stupid. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm not gonna read anymore tonight. It's just, again, every time I pick up this book, it's frustrating me, and I got through like almost 200 pages today, so I'll call that a win, and I'll just finish the last like not even 100 pages. I have like 95 pages to read tomorrow, so I'll just finish it tomorrow afternoon most likely, or just audiobook it, because honestly, I just don't care about reading it physically. And again, I don't really, care as much reading these physically because I didn't spend my money on them, so it doesn't really bother me if I don't read these physically. But this series is making me want to pick up a completely different series that I know I'm going to be obsessed with, like An Ember in the Ashes, Spark of the Everflame, The Bridge Kingdom. I bet I'm going to love all these series over this. But also, like, after I get through this one, like, I don't have that many series left that I have to binge. So I'm just trying to get through my physical TBR, and I don't know. Again, I fear if I pick up a book from my TBR, I feel like even though I'm probably going to enjoy all of them even more than this series, I feel like I am not just going to read for enjoyment, because like sometimes when you stick to your TBR, it kind of can feel like a little bit like a task. And it's like, I have mostly stuck to my TBR this month. Like, This Woven Kingdom was on my TBR. All the books in my 24-hour readathon were in my TBR. The arc read I read was in my TBR. The only one that wasn't was The Scorpion and the Night Blossom. And again, I really liked that book. So, again, even though I was struggling to connect to the romance, I still really loved the fantasy writing. Because, again, Emily Wenzel is just a fantastic fantasy writer. So, that's why I liked that book more. And I cared more about those characters. And not even more about the characters, just more about the overall story. This, I don't care about either one. And that's the unfortunate thing. Because I was like, how is it that I connected with Shatter Me, which is a younger series, but I felt that she concentrated on the plot a lot more. I just felt like it was a much stronger series than this one. I don't know how people love this series. I really don't understand. I mean, more power to you. I understand. Everybody has their own book taste, but with this, I'm just really struggling. So I will check in with you guys when I finish the book tomorrow, because there's really not going to be any more updates that I need to make until I finish the book. So bye. Okay, so hey guys. So I wanted to let you guys know that I just finished All This Twisted Glory by Tahereh Mafi, which is the third book in This Woven Kingdom. And I finished it via audio in my car. I literally finished it as soon as I pulled into the driveway coming home. So that was awesome that I just finished it then. And I feel nothing towards this series. I'm sorry. I didn't like this series at all. So this is the same rating as the first two, which is 3.5 out of 5 stars. But honestly, I feel like just giving them all 3 stars, because I actually think that the first book was 3.5 and the other two were like 3. So I felt like this was the same as the second book, where there was a million things introduced, and as soon as she starts talking about something that was interesting, it goes nowhere. And I thought we would get some action in this. Literally zero action at the end. It left off on a cliffhanger, but a cliffhanger I honestly don't fucking care about at this point. Like, I just don't simply care. So I really just don't even have anything else to say about this one, because literally nothing happened. Basically, Eliza was struggling to make her decision whether to marry Cyrus or Cameron, and then she makes her decision, and then she has to take a blood oath to one of the characters that she decides to marry. And that's it. There's no marriage. She just takes the blood oath, and that's the rest of the book. There's no action, literally nothing that is giving me any high tension or high stakes, nothing. These are very low stakes books, and maybe that's just not my type of fantasy. But honestly, I have rated some cozy fantasy book 5 stars before, and those are extremely low stakes, and I felt a hell of a lot more happen in The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, which is my only 5-star cozy fantasy. And also I've only read, actually I have 2 5-star cozy fantasies, because Under the Whispering Door was a 6-star for me by TJ Klune. So, and that was it. That's all that literally happened. And also, Cameron is still at the palace of Toulon, and I'm like, you just left Ardunia without a ruler? Aren't you supposed to be the king now? And you literally have been in the Toulon Kingdom probably a month now. Like, are just your advisors that you don't even like, are they running the kingdom? So when you come back, what's going to happen? Well, you were just away. So, like, even in Throne of Glass, when Dorian was away from the kingdom for a while, they still addressed as to why he needed to come back, because he was away from his kingdom. And I'm like, there's nothing fucking explained in this. And then she finally explained that the way that Cameron and Miss Huda got to Toulon in like a paragraph. And I was like, why didn't we say this earlier so we could actually understand how the hell they got to Toulon so quickly? But that's literally it. There was nothing like, Eliza was saying that she needs to address her people, and it ended up being a really stupid decision because, again, somebody tried to assassinate her. But that was the only action in the rest of the book. And then literally it was just chapters and chapters of Cameron and Eliza and Cyrus talking to each other. And I'm just like, I like simply don't care. And again, Eliza was now realizing that she's not really in love with Cameron. And I'm like, Cameron, you need to stop wasting your time on a girl that doesn't fucking love you. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of a spoiler as to who she ends up choosing. But honestly, I don't care at this point because I literally just feel nothing towards these characters and this series. So, I am honestly really shocked that I disliked these books as much as I did. So, we finished the series and we're up to date to be ready for the fourth book in September. But honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, it's not until September, so I'm sure I'll probably be ready to read it then. But again, as of right now, I'm 100% a fan of Shatter Me over this series. Like, I much prefer that series over this one. I'm actually shocked on how much I disliked this. And it's a shame because I don't want to talk shit about books. I want to love the books that I read. But honestly, I think my favorite, like I said, out of the three was This Woman Kingdom. Because at least we got some action in this. And there was some build up to what happened. But it was just not really worth the payoff. So again, this is 3.5. And I also thought this was just way too long for what it was. The second book was probably my least favorite. This one was so beyond boring. So this one is going to be a 3-star. I'm just going to say a 3-star for this one. And then for this one, All This Twisted Glory, which is the most recent one, this one's going to be a 3.25. I think that's fair for these three books. So, unfortunately, I just was not a fan of this series. I'm sorry if you loved it, but at the same time, I'm allowed to have my own opinion. This is just my opinion. This doesn't mean that... And I know I kept on saying, like, I don't understand how you can love this over Shatter Me, and I'm sorry that I said that because everybody's book taste is different. What you love, I might not like, and that is totally fine. Or what I love, you might not like, and that is totally fine. So I am just saying I really just did not like this series, and I'm not really a fan of these characters or the stories. So yeah, but we finished it. But honestly, I only continued, and also, like, I'm not a person that just DNFs. I don't really DNF series, really. The only series I DNF'd was Encyclopedia of Fairies, because I just read the first one, and I literally just was so damn bored with that book. But honestly, I haven't really had a bad experience with fantasy, especially YA fantasy / romantasy like that since, well, Encyclopedia of Fairies is a cozy fantasy, but it just simply did not work for me. But honestly, I really have not had a experience like this reading a YA fantasy series and being this disappointed. Because usually I love YA series. Like I said, like, oh, this is like really bothering me. I think I need to take an Advil because I'm getting a headache now. Sorry, I need some waters. And then we're just going to end this vlog. But, like, I love Belladonna, which I think both of these series are upper YA romantasy. Because there were a couple of sexual things that were talked about, especially in the third book. Not really the first two, but mostly the third book. So I would say, or maybe it just starts out YA romantasy and then it gets more to, like, upper YA romantasy. Belladonna, I think, even though Belladonna was not as sexual as this series was by the third book, like, it mentioned those things, but it was very closed doors still. But, like, they just, like, would insinuate something. It's like Belladonna and Lightlark are very similar when it comes to that. Even though Lightlark might be a little bit more sexual than Belladonna. So I feel like Belladonna, out of the three, is, if you're looking for something that's really not smutty and, like, just mentions it, I would go with Belladonna. So, but honestly, I loved Belladonna and Lightlark over this series. Like, Lightlark had so much action, and Belladonna, I just fell in love with the characters, and also the story was really good too. Even though it's very plot-holy, it's just a better story, and it's better written. Honestly, this was like, I was like, is this the same author that wrote Shatter Me? Because I don't know. I just didn't really love the writing at all. And they're like, it's so flowery, it's so descriptive. I'm like, no, I've read way better descriptive writing than this. Like Belladonna and Light Lark and Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I'm just really, really, really surprised and sad and shocked. The 3 S's, I guess. So, yeah, that's it. I don't really feel like ranting about this any longer. So, please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. And let me know your thoughts on this series and whether or not you like it more than Shatter Me, or do you prefer Shatter Me over this series? I really would love to know. So I hope you guys have a great day. I am so torn as to what I want to read now after this. Because I wanted to read this, because I usually pick like a series in the middle of the month so I can read it and I have enough time to read it before the month is over. So usually the middle of the month is like the best time for me to read a series. And honestly, like I said, I haven't really fallen in love with any books for like a week or two. And it's not making me feel like, I mean, I'm kind of feeling a bit reading slumpy, but also it's more so I don't know what the fuck I'm in the mood to read now, because I feel like reading this series was kind of a waste of my time, because I'm like, I wanted to read a series that I was going to be obsessed with. Like, that was the mood that I was in. I was like, I need to be obsessed with a series and be immersed in a series, and this just did not do it for me at all. I like felt myself dreading picking it up, or I knew like if something was introduced, I knew it wasn't going to lead anywhere. So we even got little glimpses of Cyrus's curse, but honestly, we didn't get anything explained about it because he doesn't like talking about it. So I don't know. I really don't know. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to go. I'm going to stop rambling. I hope you guys have a great day and keep reading. Bye.